Okay, lads. I'm just about to go live in a minute. Well, I am. I'm alive already, but just waiting for a few to come on in. Of course, I haven't actually advertised it this week, and so hopefully all the guys know that on a Monday I do these vlogs. Catch up from what's gone on last week, and hopefully next week as well. So let me just have a look. Just making a few notes a minute. Okay. All right. Oh, Andrew Gadd. Hiya, mate. First one in tonight. Hope you're well. Dave Cullen. Hiya, mate. Clive, just back from a day's fishing on the cabin. On the Waggler. 145 fish. Great day. Well done, mate. Yeah. I many years ago fished cabin. Yeah. Of course, in them days we used to fish the Waggler a lot, and of course pole to hand, and then the feeder come into it. Then, hiya, James Flynn. Nice to see you. Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Well, to be honest, after yesterday, I'm just getting over yesterday's match. I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute, because I had to fish in the water up to my bloody chest up here. It was a nightmare. It was a really hard match for me to fish, but there we are. I think adrenaline gets you going. It keeps you going, doesn't it? When you're on these pegs and you're catching fish, you forget about the cold and other things. And after the match, you think, "Oh my God!" Because of my age now, trying to compete with the youngsters is pretty hard, though. Still enjoyable, though. Still enjoyable. Who else? Come on now. Oh, Dave, hiya, mate. Evening. Hope you're well. Yeah. I keep doing my top up here. It's getting a bit cold now, isn't it? Nights are drawn in riding now, and of course, cold weather setting in. It's an ideal time really for fishing, because the fish are trying to pack on weight now, ready for the winter. So now's the time to get on the rivers and do some fishing. Okay, all right then. Neil Smith, hi mate. Your legs are sore from standing up. Yeah, they bloody are. Paul Chapman, hiya Paul. Hope you're well. Yeah, Paul, I'll take you up on that. Of course, I'm off to Thailand, and obviously I'll try and come back, and we'll have a day out. When I come back, I'll come up and meet the boys and fish your venue that you mentioned to me. Kevin, hiya Kevin, nice to see you again. Hope you're well. Yeah, do you ever fish hemp in the winter? Yeah, well, yes, you can, but I don't think it's as good in the winter as it is in the summer. I could be wrong on that. Stuart Nichols, hi mate, you okay? Nice to see you. Nice to see you on you. Oh, that's good. I'm getting a few on you now, which is good. As I say, I think these vlogs take time, don't they, for people to know that you're on, and you're coming on. So there we are. Right, I'll just talk a little bit about last week. A couple of questions I didn't actually finish off. Jez, right, white, yeah, even mate, yeah, I'm well. Hope you are as well. Paul Talbot last week. If you watched the blog, as you say, Ashley Workman, he mentioned leave the aniseed out, stop attracting the roach. Yeah, I suppose you're right there. If I didn't put the aniseed, the roach come in, and then a bloody pike come in, don't they? Oh, pike! I'm doomed by pike. Oh, I'll tell you about pike as well. I was the only one to have pike trouble yesterday on the Y. I swear to God, you would not believe it. I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, Neil, yes, Leo Smith, right? Yeah. Now somebody mentioned a method to occupy the pike. Now I don't know if any of you lads have tried this before, but I think it's definitely worth a try. He mentioned when he had pike trouble, he got some oily fish, I suppose mackerel headings, chopped them up, and actually threw them in the water, so the smell would attract. They would eat the dead bait or dead fish, and then leave the roach alone, or the fish he was catching. Now, I don't know if that'll work, but it's definitely worth a try, I think. You know, obviously it's a bit different on running water because if you throw fish in, it's going to float away in it. But certainly on the dock or places like that, it's definitely worth a try. I don't know if anyone else has tried that. Hiya, Dave Ward. Nice to see you. Yeah, I do appreciate you guys all giving a thumbs up. I know I'd never mention it. I don't like to ask these questions sometimes, but it's nice to get thumbs up. And thanks to the one who gave me a thumbs down again. Oh, I tell you what, he's doing my head in. I don't know who it is, but he's doing it deliberately. Wind me up. I got an idea who it is, but anyway, don't matter. If you could have put a thumbs down on my vlog, tell me why. There we are. Anyway, yeah, so going back to Port Talbot, Stephen mentioned that it didn't fish as well. Yeah, if you noticed last week, there was a bit of water on, and I think I got a feeling that we didn't have a lot of rain, but I think what happened, the dock, I don't know if you know, but it's actually controlled by the harbour master that allows ships to come in to unload their stock. And the problem is when you keep the docks closed for a while, it will fill up with water. And of course, somebody mentioned there was a lot of salt in there as well, but I don't know about that. Doesn't matter. Fish are not affected by the salt. They thrive in it, in fact, Stephen Cutlass, hiya, mate. It was you. All right, Stephen. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, who mentioned about the chopped fish. Yeah, definitely gonna try it, mate. Yeah, might try it next Sunday. Actually, going down the dock again. Stuart Nichols, any shows big bream in Port? Yes. No, it's funny you should say that, Stuart, because I don't know if you guys know, but you may have seen it on your venues. What happens is that fish move in. 1 year and you catch loads of a certain species. The next year, something else moves in and you catch other fish. Now, it's the same happened down the dock. A couple of years ago, I mean, it was known for lots of skimmers. And, actually, before that, it was known for big roach. And then it's skimmers. And then all of a sudden, big bream moved in. Now, if you saw my vlog about 2 years ago, you see we were catching big weights, 70, 80, 100 pound. 136 pound broke the record. Then they disappeared. And then this year, it's back to roach. The skimmers have disappeared, although saying that, a couple of matches have been won, and there have been one or two big bream being caught, but not that many. Now, this happens all the time. So you answer that question is yes, there are big bream in there, but obviously they've disappeared at the moment. In fact, I'm going to tell you something about, there's another venue, local to Cardiff. It's called Estock. Now, many years ago, we used to have, we didn't have many matches on it, but it was a nice venue, and it was a free venue basically. And then a carp syndicate come in, and they managed to secure it. They stopped fishing, coarse fishing. You could only carp fish. Obviously, they've done a bit of work to it. They've stocked it. Anyway, they allowed a match there yesterday, and there were reports that they were catching like double-figure bream on boilies because obviously the fish and not used to our standard, maggots and casters and groundbait. So what's happened over the years? These bream have grown, and anyway, they decided to have a match there yesterday. Well, it's the first match I think in probably in 20 years, maybe. And anyway, there's a lot of lads there. Now I didn't fish it because I was up on the Y, but I wish I had. It was won by an old friend of mine, Ken Hornsey. He won it with 51 pound of roach. Second was Clive Roberts with, I think, 49 pound. Then Richard Candy with 48. So all my team members, there was a 40 pegger, good turnout. And they, first, second, third, the old Cardiff nomads, and they caught big bags of roach, of all things. Now, there was one guy who did catch some bream, and he had a couple of bream up to 6 pound. So, but as I say, that's Estock in Cardiff. And they are talking about running a few more matches there. So if they do, hopefully I'll fish it and I'll do a vlog on it. You'll see, it's not as deep as Port Talbot, and there's no salt water coming in now. It's completely landlocked. But yeah, definitely worth a look at. Okay. Stephen Cotter, help you. Oh, it helped you on the Chelmer, did it? Okay. All right. Well, that's a flowing river, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, as I said, we'll try it. That chop. You got to tell me, what did you use, mackerel or was it herring? I'm not sure what you used. You did mention it, I know. but it'd be nice, get the pike, to say, interested in something else rather than the fish I'm catching. Kevin Rogers, hey mate, I'm not taking a peak live, but have you ever done any predator fishing? Not really, no. I did as a youngster. I never forget. There's a place called Santanil Ponds, which is a local pond. And as a kid, we used to go and fish for the rudd. And that, funny enough, that's the place I learned about aniseed. Because one of the lads took aniseed. He was only one to catch fish using aniseed. Anyway, there was a pike there. It was massive. It was, and you can imagine as a kid, like all fish are big, but this was big. The head was like that. It was ginormous. And we used to watch it under the lily beds, and of course we were all scared to try and fish it because we didn't have the tackle in them days to sort of land that. And but it held that mystery, it did, and that magic. Anyway, one day somebody knew how to catch pike, actually caught it, and the sad thing, he killed it and got him mounted, and it's in Gary Evans Fishing Tackle Shop now. So if anyone ever goes in Cardiff, going to the tackle shop, you see it. It's a shame that I hate to kill pike, but saying that, I feel like strangling a few pike lately, I'll tell you. Neil Smith, okay, anyway, what a river the Wye is, Clive. Wish I lived near, unbelievable way. So funny enough, you should say that, Neil. I done the weigh-in yesterday on my section, and a couple of lads from Lincolnshire, 150 miles away, they actually came for the week to fish it. And apparently they've been doing that last couple of years. In fact, Paul Chapman's another one. There's a few guys actually come down and spend a few days a week on there, and it's definitely worth it, especially now this time of year in the winter. Not so good in the summer. It's okay for babble and, the odd fish like that. But if you really want to bag up and catch loads of quality fish, then now's the time, in the winter, Okay. Yep. Dave P62. Yeah. Clive, I wonder what number K does you use on the way? Okay. It's a number 2. I use the softer one. I do myself personally, only because I like the soft action. I like to feel the fish when I've got them on. I know they do a number 1 as well in all the makes, but number 2 I like. All right, Stephen again. Mackerel and herring, buddy. Okay. Feeding a big feeder away from the feeding area. Okay. And with crumb. Okay, well that's interesting. It's definitely worth a try. If it works, I'll buy you a drink or something next time I see you, because pike are a bane, honestly. To me, for some reason, must be the way I retrieve them or bring them in, but I seem to be plagued by more pike than anybody else for some reason. Okay. Right then, let's have a look. A couple of little other things here now. Let's have a look. Right. There's a bit of news this week. I've got to say well done to the Barnsley Blacks again. They won the World Club Feeder Champs in Bulgaria on one of my favourite venues, where the Welsh team won the World Championships many moons ago. But they done exceedingly well. They were lying 4th or something on the first day, and they come back and they won it. So all in all, the UK or British English teams, I should say, are doing fantastic this year, aren't they? The veterans and now the Barnsley Blacks. And it's nice to see that obviously they're still holding the flag for the UK, and all those moons ago, of course, when Dennis White and Tom Pickering and all them used to hold the flag for them. Now it's nice to see a new group of youngsters come through and doing exceptionally well. Of course, they got great history, haven't they? Going back when Dick Clegg used to run them and all that. So that's fantastic. Paul, hi. Lots of discussions about sewage going into the river at the moment, Clive. Have you noticed the fish stocks being affected? Paul, you know what? This is coincidence, because that is next on my list. The white pollution. It's been on TV. Yeah, it's been on the local TV here in the southwest and Wales. And apparently, there's been a band of people down on the lower stretch have noticed that there's all the small fish have died and the weed have died and so on, and they wonder what's happening. And I think personally, it's coming out from Monmouth downwards. You know what I mean? Which is below Heatherford, and there is discussions that obviously the sewage are going in from Monmouth, and obviously as you further downriver, Newport, and I don't know, is it Newport, Chepstow? Oh, I'm not sure. But anyway, and they have tested it and over the last year or two, and they say that the pollution level is definitely gone higher. But if you go further up the Wye, I got to say that there is less weed in the rivers these days, and you know what that means? That's their natural habitat. It's like taking the jungle away from the chimpanzees, isn't it? Basically, they know where to live, know where to feed, know where to breed. So they do need the natural, plant life, weed in the water, and there's definitely a lack of it on the River Wye. Now, is it polluted? I don't know. Do you know this year on the Wye at Belmont, the weights are breaking all records? They really are. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I know that there's more, chicken farms, and they say that that's affecting it. But if you look at the geography of the Wye compared with other rivers, you'll notice from Hereford upstream to Booth Wells, there's not much of an industry town. Maybe Shrewsbury. In fact, Shrewsbury, that's on the Severn. If you notice, that's terrible. That's fishing terrible up there. So they've got a lot of industrial there. But if you look at the Wye, you'll find it's not much. It don't go through any major cities, and so any pollution is going to come off the farmland. So anyway, but that is a very interesting point there, Paul. I really don't know what to say about that. Because as I said, it's the Wye at the moment is just fishing its nuts off. If you saw the vlog yesterday, you'll see what I mean. Loads of bags of fish. Right, Kevin Rogers. Have you or would you fish commercial fisheries, Clive? Well, Kevin, when I it's in my autobiography actually. When everything went sort of pear shaped on me, but losing my house and business and everything, I didn't fishing, and then when I come back, I went commercial fishing then for a year or two, about a year. But to be honest, natural fishing was more of an interest to me, and I went back to natural fishing. But yes, I started to learn a little bit about commercials, and to be honest, I suppose in a way, I wish I maybe stuck to it a little bit, because when I look at the prizes to be won these days, it's amazing. Like, was it 100 grand somebody picked up the other week? Wow, 50 grand, the Fishermanias. It's maybe I should have stuck to it. I don't know. I think I'm a bit old now, to be honest, Kevin. I think it's a young man's game. Just like our match fishing now on the Wye, I was just saying, God, it's the younger lads. When I say younger, they're in their 40s, 30s, 40s. They're young to me, like, and even 50s, I suppose. But they're more physically fit and capable. So I think it's coming to that sort of scenario, unfortunately, in my life. Stephen Collins again. What is the lowest weight have you have ever won a match with? Oh, blimey, it's an interesting one. Well, I think you've got to go back to when we used to fish canals and places like that, where, you'd win with a pound or something. But yeah, these days, I'll be honest, Stephen, I do try to go and fish where there's fish, where you've got a chance of catching fish, because you look how much it costs you to go match fishing, By the time you buy your bait, okay, your tackle, obviously, your pools, your traveling, your breakfast, you're talking about 70, 80 quid or something on most matches. And you imagine, like, going to fish for a pound or £2 of fish, okay. I fish the Warwickshire Raven. That's a classical example. 2 or £3 of fish will win you a section sometimes. But if I can, I'll try and fish where I think you got a chance. That's why the Wye, obviously, this time of year, Port Talbot docks, certain parts of Bristlehaven, and I would like to come over the Trent, because they tell me that's very good as well. But it's a bit far for me to go on the Trent. So, but no, as I say, I do tend to stick to where I can catch some fish these days. Stuart Nicholas, Clive, do you fish? Do you or lads ever use Zuma floats? Ah, right. I used to make them as a teen in the 80s, and they're blooming expensive. Yeah, I would use bronze bar in the bottom of the body, great for distance fishing. Yes, yeah, I remember reading about that. In fact, Ivan Marks wrote an article about it, didn't he? And yeah, we did try them. But it didn't seem last for long, did it, Stuart? That phase of zoomer, fishing with a zoomer, like. And the lads who's not sure what a zoomer was, it was basically one that like a loaded float. I think used to fish it top and bottom, sometimes sliding. Yeah. No, yeah, so I used to make them. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it must be as old as me then, Stuart. Anyway, let's get back. Is there any more questions? By the way, just fire them away. I'll try and answer them best I can. Anyway, so yeah, so that was the why pollution. So I don't know. It's been on TV. It's a big thing. There's a big um, movement at the moment in trying to clean it up a bit. So I'm glad they are, in a sense. If we can get the local councils and MPs to help chase it, it's great. Right. Now I'm going to. There's a couple of lads have come out with fishing lads have come out with COVID this week. So I'm just saying to the lads, be a bit careful. I don't think it's over yet, is it? It's coming back. One of our team members have got it now. Well, two, in fact, Jan and no Andrew, and stopped Jan fishing this weekend. So thankfully they've all had the jab, and they will get through it. But I did lose a very good friend of mine, Mike Martin, last year. Within 2 weeks of contracting it, he passed away. So yeah, just be careful with that, lads. Right. Right, Richard Harvey. Hi, mate. Clive, hope you're good. Yeah, I'm good. What ground bait mix would you pull inside the River Wye match? Gold medal ground bait, of course. Yeah, of course. Right. I'll tell you, Richard. Right. Let me tell you a little bit about that, because somebody else asked me that yesterday, I think it was. One of the lads, who's Kevin Dix, who's now fishing with us, and he asked me what's the ratio of ground bait. Well, you want to put 2/3 of molehill to a third of ground bait. Okay, I'll tell you for why, because it binds well. But what you got to do, don't make it too damp, because otherwise it's like slop. You want it slightly damp. But the best way I find is to put, when you cook the hemp, you get a bit of water in it, don't you? Yeah. So keep the oil in the hemp and use that and mix it when you put in the molehill and ground bait. Now, obviously, it's up to you what you want to put in the ground bait in the molehill. I mean, obviously, I use my gold medal. I put a bit of a, fish meal and aniseed in, bit of black bream. So, but whatever you do, don't make it too sloppy. But you will get a nice consistency. Add casters as well, because that'll help to break it. Don't put maggots in, because maggots will break it up too quickly. And then when you boil it in, that'll hold together. Make sure, and when you go in, you can tell if it's right, because it'll make a clunk noise. Plunk. If it goes plush like that, it's not. It's plush sound. You'll find that it goes down like a stone if it makes that clunk noise. Okay. Good idea is to oval it a little bit like that as well, so when it goes down the bottom, it don't roll out your swim. Okay, so it stays flat before breaking up. And that's what I would do, Richard. Okay, don't forget. So it's 2/3 molehill. If you can't get molehill, by the way, I tell you, there's another thing you can do. Is people haven't got the time. You go get topsoil. Now they sell topsoil. It's quite cheap. It's only about 3 or 4 quid a bag, I think. Sieve it off. Obviously, get rid of any stones and any grass or anything in it. But that's pretty good as well. But just a little tip. It's always a good idea to, if you're going to use it, get the molehill or get the earth close to the venue, because you want it the same color. And in fact, I seen, here's a little tip, don't tell anyone, but I seen Adrian Whittle digging the bloody bank up last week, trying to, because there's shortage of moles at the moment, so he's actually using the earth from the riverbed, on the side of the river. But I don't think that's allowed, so be careful you don't get caught. All right, Stephen. Okay. Do you think it would be interesting if you had a match, 2 legs, first match, call out to fish for the feeder, and then and fish a float, combine points winning? Hey, do you know what? That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Do you know, funny you should say that, because I heard through the week about feeder matches now becoming really, really popular, especially out of the Fancy Black. But they're holding these feeder matches. And I suppose, I don't know, what can I say about the feeder? Personally, I think it's a lazy man's way of fishing. But on the other hand, I know there's a skill, an art to it. I know that myself, fishing the feeder down the dock. You got to be accurate, of course. You got to know where how it ends, how where it lands, and then you got your feed. And so there's quite a lot involved in it, but it's still a lazy method because I'm going back many years ago when the feeder first came out, and they call it the plastic pig, and it made an average angler good. Simple as that. All of a sudden, average anglers could frame and win matches. In fact, I think it was John Dean and people like that made them pack up fishing. Because of it. But yes, yeah, feeder fishing is becoming very popular, and maybe if you combine that with float fishing, one match feeder, next float fishing, yeah, that would be a very good, interesting thing. You never know; they might even one day do it and even run a world championships because they seem to have world championships for everything these days, don't they? Oh well, less said about that, the better, I think. Anyway, nice one, nice call then, Steve. Stuart, yeah, yes, Clive, old school. Might have a few somewhere. We send you a picture. Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting if you have, yeah, the old Zoomer. Perhaps I can start making them. Sell a few. Oh, Neil Smith, Fisher of a Stow. All right, at Council near Kidderminster. Pleasure fishing after watching your vlog. Well done. With you and Russell. Okay. 8 chub, £5, 8 chub to £5, and 2 perch, and 2 pounds 5 ounces. Lost 8 chub as well. Ooh, do you know what, Neil? When you lose fish, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think every time you lose a fish, you lose a couple more with it because if you ever notice fish, if they dart off, others will follow. So it disperses your shoal a little bit. So try not to lose fish if you can help it. Right. Who's this? Oh, Ryan Next Sports. Hi, Clive. Love your vids. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Often hear you asking how Kevin is doing. Yes, he was fishing a chatty match on the canal on Saturday. Think he was second in his section. So still at it. Oh, that's great news. Yeah, well, if you ever bump into him, just mention Clive Branson. I always talk about him, because he was my hero, I don't know if I ever told you the story, but one year he got robbed at I don't know if it was gunpoint or whatever. He actually got held up, didn't he, on his pig farm, I think, demanding money off him. And anyway, but that year was when I become runner-up in the World Championships, and they held a little party for me and the local lads, and the honour, the prize guest was Kevin Ashes. He'd come all the way down from Lee to be there for the night with me. Fantastic, great guy. So he, a lot of people sort of thought he was a bit offish, but he wasn't. He was a great guy. He'd always say to me, "The Oreet." The Oreet, yeah. Yeah, give him my best if you see him, mate, and tell him I'm thinking about him. Okay, let's have a look then. So where was I? I'm just going through my notes again. So yeah, so just be careful with the COVID, boys. Right, now, here's one thing, a little tip to the lads who are on Facebook. You might, now, I got to tell you a little story about me because I go back to 1987 when, not related to fishing, but my brother set up a computer company, and then he was the first ISP, that's the Internet Service Provider in South Wales. We were one of the first in with the internet. So that's why I know a little bit about the internet and a little bit how it works, and of course a bit more savvy than maybe others. But there is a thing going around at the moment, and just want you to be aware of this. It's on Facebook. You'll see a friend suddenly message you and say, "Oh, it's you on the video." In other words, and out of curiosity, you're going to think, "Oh, what am I doing on a video?" So you click on it, and what happens? It takes you to a page, and it asks you to log in. Obviously, you're going to log in with all your personal details, but that is actually captured and then used by that hacker, by that person who sent you that message. So that person who sent you the message is not the person who you think it is. Okay, just be aware. And if you get caught and you know, out of I know a lot of people will do it. They will log in thinking they're going to see a video, but it's not. They're actually harvesting their personal information to log in. Then they'll log in using you, and they well, what they do then, they send off to all your friends and become a bloody nuisance. It happened to Billy Makin, poor bugger. He had 4,000 subscribers, and overnight he lost them all because this Nigerian. And I knew what this Nigerian was up to because I actually messaged him. I said, "Why are you doing this?" You know, and he said, "Oh, he's poor. His family got no money, and you know, and this is the only way he can make money." I said, "Well, you know, do yourself a favor." I was going to actually send him some money. I felt so sorry, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because you know, the people like that, you know, need bloody shooting as far as I'm concerned. But okay, just be careful about that, lads. Anyone on Facebook, don't open up a video because, in fact, never ever log in. You know, if you're not sure that it's not a Facebook. You know, it'll look like a Facebook page, but it's not. Trust me. Okay, Thomas. Oh, Thomas did send a message, but he left. Okay. Oh, Stephen Peters. Hiya, mate. Hope you're well. Yep. It's nice, you know, guys, you know, come in and say hello. You know, even if it's just say hello. I mean, you know. And don't forget, as I said before, put the thumbs up because apparently it helps with the algorithms. The more thumbs up on your vlogs, the more you get shoved up the pecking order. You know, so people go searching. You know, and I think the Facebook, no, sorry, YouTube actually recognize this, and then they'll put you higher up the list, so you get more views. You know, so that's a great. Right then, let's get back to right now, the River Wye. I know I keep harping on about it, and in fact, I fell out with a well-known angler, should I say, about a week ago. Because what happened, the ABC League, which is run by Steve Mayer from the Midlands, he is basically he started a league, a river league, okay, and it's a little bit like the River Fest. And the final was on Bewdley on 7, not Bewdley, Bridgnorth this year. So anyway, that was great, and he had a good turnout. All the pegs were sold. It's sponsored by ABC Baits, by the way, a good friend of mine, Denzel. Anyway, so this year, or I say for next year, he's managed to secure the Y as as the final. Anyway, I made a remark that I on Steve's Facebook page. I said, "Oh, well done, Steve! Fantastic! You know, it'd be a great final. Each year had out, you know, the Riverfest. Anyway, oh, a certain angler then had a right go. He said, "Grow up, Clive. Don't be so pathetic." But like I said, in my eyes, I think the River Wye is the best river in the bloody country. Like, you know, especially when it comes to final. And I did turn out and say, "Oh, by the way, you know, referring to the Trent, I said at least it's not a river that on one day will determine the winner." You know, because that's what's happened the last 2 years on the Trent. I mean, it's a great river. Don't get me wrong, the Trent. You know, and you know, it deserves some finals. But you know, when somebody catches such a big weight, you know, and can't be caught one day, then it's all over in it. You know, at least on the Y, you won't get that because you know, everyone's in with a shout each day. You know, so anyway, so I thought I'd just quickly you know, mention that. Oh, Stuart and Clyde, sticky still sold nowadays. Is Sticky Mag still used these days? Or is it sold? No, is it sold nowadays? We used it for distance fishing with the Zoomers. Oh yeah. Well, Stuart, yeah, you know, funny you should say that because years ago, I think I'd written about this in my autobiography where the Costa lads had one up on us. They used to be able to fire their maggots right across the canal, and we couldn't do it. And it looked as though they were using some sticky substance and that. Anyway, of course, when Sticky Mag came out, it was all the rage because you know, a lot of the guys started using it. You know, in fact, I won the world championships using a sticky mag in with my maggots and putting gravel with it, so it goes down quickly. You know, to hit the bottom. Anyway, but what we use is just as good, and half the price is Horlicks. If you use Buy Horlicks, exactly the same thing. It's just like sticky. It sticks them together. We used to, use it in the World Championships, and it, maybe it gives a bit of flavour as well. A bit of Horlicks in it. You can make any size bowl, and fantastic. And I did get a question actually somewhere. I don't know who it was. Asking about sticky mags. Let's have a look. Somebody mentioned somewhere. Is it any good on the Y? Well, it is, but make sure you've got gravel on it to make sure it sinks. Because if you just use sticky mag on its own, it'll get the distance, and as it breaks up, it'll go downstream, quite quickly. But if you put fine gravel in it, aquarium gravel, by the way, then as it sinks, it goes down quicker. And it is, a good method if you don't want to use Groundbreak. But in my experience, on the Y, bear in mind, you only fish really for 3 months a year. Groundbait, they just love groundbait. They're attracted to it. That's why balling in works straight away. So yeah, good question. That good question. And Barry, Barry Millwall, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. Neil Smith. Okay, what matches this week? Right, I'm not sure yet about Wednesday. Neil, I'm winding down a little bit because I mentioned last week that I'll be off to Thailand in about a month's time. So I'm sort of calming down a little bit when it comes to midweek matches. But if I do, I will obviously make a vlog of it. Next week, I was hoping to try and get on the Y Championships. Now, I have fished the Y Championships for many years. I used to go back when there was like 300 peggers. But now these days, the organisers now, unfortunately, they've cut it right back to just 100 pegs. And it's like a lucky dip now. If you put your name down and you're drawn out, then you're fishing. Well, this year, which is next Sunday, I'm not in it. I'm on the way to a reserve list. I'm number 8 apparently, because I did message John Pemberton the other day to ask him how I was looking, and he said I'm 8th. Now they're having a live draw tomorrow, by the way, and whoever's in the Y Championships will know what section they're in. Obviously, they won't know what peg number until the day, but they'll know. They'll go straight to their section then on the Sunday. Well, he did say that there's liable people that are going to drop out once they realise what section they're in, which is a shame, really, because this is why I'm against that sort of thing, drawing beforehand. I'd rather draw on the day, and at least you got the element of surprise. When you draw the nights before, I know it's easier for the organisers and it makes it easy for them, but to be honest, anyway. So what that means is that if I do get in, it's because somebody else don't fancy going to their long walk on their on their stretch or whatever it is. But anyway, that's another story. Let's gone the beef out of the way. Oh, Thomas right. Kevin Ashes fishes the River Weaver matches at Winsford. Oh, on Wednesday. He still does well against the young one. Wins. Oh, does he win as well? Oh, brilliant. I'd love to one day actually maybe come up and fish with him. Give him a surprise. Come up and say hi, Kevin. Oh, thanks for that, Thomas. Andrew Gard, Clive. When fishing bream on the river, when it's in flood, is it best to find slack water or fish in the middle where the water is fastest, or fish past middle, far bank if you can hold it on bottom? Do you know what, Andrew? You'd be surprised. I always thought bream were like still water fish, and they live in slacks and that, especially when the water was up. But I have caught, and I've seen people catch bream out in the flow. I remember when I made a video in Denmark, I was surprised catching big slabs in the fast flow, on the float as well, even though it's better on the feeder. So the answer to that is yes, they still live in the flood, but if I was fishing, I would still plump for the slacks, because I think they will come to the slack, because obviously, if they're looking for food, then yeah. And obviously, they use a lot of energy up, in the water. Have you ever hooked I love hooking bream on flowing waters. They put their body against the flow, don't they? Gosh, and it's hard to try and land the bloody things. Tom's right. Section every now and again. Oh, does he? Okay, brilliant. And that's where was that again, Thomas? That was in. I was on the Weaver. Okay, yeah, Winsford. Okay, brilliant. Anthony Cook, Apple 501 or 506? Do you know, Anthony, I always said 501. I always said 501. But lately, I tell you what, I've switched to 507s. And I don't know if you've seen me, but they seem to be a lot smoother. I still use a 501, I think, when I'm light fishing, maybe on the Water Haven or on still waters. But yeah, 506 are good. Take the back wind out of it, of course. But on the rivers, 507s, I find it better. Hello, Clive. Have you had any pike at the weekend? Who's that? How do you pronounce that? Rob Gun 8K47. Well, I'm going to talk about that now on my blog. Bloody pike. Swear word. Andrew Gad, that's what I thought. Oh, yeah, okay, mate. Herman, hi, mate. In Denmark, wasn't for. Yes, yeah, Hooked International was on there. Yeah, no, it wasn't that one. I actually, Herman, I made some videos when the first videos ever come out for Clean River. Then that's where we went Denmark. Yeah. David, great batch. Clive, are the roads showing at Belmont? Yes, they've just come in now. I'm going to talk about that now in a minute. I tell you, it's nice. I get a lot of these pre-questions here before I got a chance to answer any, but I've actually got them on my list. Yeah, talk about that now, David. Barry Miller, Clive, is that all 507, or it's probably it's the old later one, I would say, latest one. Yeah, they're quite good. With I haven't got one yet to show you, right? No, I did have. I was cleaning one early on. It's probably out there, but if I got it, I'll get it and show you. Okay, right. Coming back to the Wye. Well, have you all seen the blog? I hope you have. It's a great match to fish the River Wye, and as I say, it's one of the highlights of the fishing the River Wye, especially the team matches. And I got. Let's have a look. Now, as you saw, yes, I drew peg 60, which was down on the by the Scouts hut, what we call the boat side, and there's a couple of pegs there that haven't got stages, and peg 60 is one of them. So I think peg 63 is the other one, but that it's still got a nice flat bank side where you can, fish from. And it's low down to the water, which makes it a good peg. In fact, Chalky White had it, and he made use of it, and he's had a good bag of fish, as you saw on the vlog. I had to get in the water where I was. I was up to my bloody navel, and it was really hard fishing. I stood in that freezing cold water, and I tried look for bleak, but I couldn't get the motion going. I went out further, as you all saw. I was catching them, but I missed a trick. I missed two tricks, in fact, and one is regarding the roach, because you might not have seen it, but there was a bush down to the left of me, and now and again, if I didn't get a bite outside, I'd bring it in, and I just let it trundle, down. And every time I did, I'd catch a little roach, one big one. Later on in the match, I'd done it. I had one or two bigger ones. Now, roach are twice the size of dace, and they're heavy as well. Anyway, but I didn't think much of it, and because when your head's on one thing at a time, which I was on dace, trying to catch as many, as I can, trying to speed fish, if you like, with a little loafer and a Bali. And anyway, basically, I missed a trick, because when I come to the weigh-in, 2 pegs above me, the guys weighed 46 pound of roach. Gutted. I should have concentrated a bit more on the roach on the inside. As a little tip for the boys, these roach don't live out there. They live close in, right under your feet, right against the bank. So that's a little lesson there for everyone. I think one of the guys on the top peg, he had 37 pound, and he's had roach. So yeah, the roach are definitely coming in. In fact, one of our lads who won a section up on the other section, he had 44 pound, and that was mainly roach. So yes, the roach are now coming in. So yes, that's David. It's a good question. Back to Barry. Clive, is that the old 507? Yeah, that's the latest one, that is, mate. Yeah. Stuart Nichols, an angler sat having a pint or two between yourself and Kevin would learn so much. Oh yeah, oh, it'd be great. Yeah, I could. Yeah, me and Kevin. In fact, I don't know if I told you about that, but I went up with Kevin once fishing on the Trent, and he's a thinking angler, and it was a time when we were both sponsored by Shimano, and what happened? There's a very windy where we were, and I think it's known for a lot of wind, the Trent, in some areas. Anyway, uh, he came up with the idea of fishing 21-foot bottle rods with a stick float. So that meant you're further out in the water, and you could get your line behind the stick float, and you could trot down nicely, and it was working. It worked for us well, and I thought that's a method I could use elsewhere if ever, but never really went back to that. I was also talking to a friend of mine, Dennis Dixon, over in Thailand, and he used to fish with Kevin. And he said Kevin had a little trick up his sleeve, speed fishing. He'd have a bag of sawdust, and he'd put his hand in the sawdust to make sure it was always dry for unhooking the fish for speed. Because if you're catching fish and they're wet, it's like sometimes you can't quite grab them. A lot of people grab the line, but the idea, for speed fishing is to catch hold of the fish itself. It saves time, doesn't it? Because a lot of anglers, I see them, swinging fish in like this or on the line and all that. But if you catch a fish directly, and the way to do it is with dry hands and the sawdust. So, great thing. Kevin, he was years ahead of his time, Um, all right, Kevin, Clive, you talk about balling in on the Y, but what mix would you use for the bottom end of the Wallace Raven? Oh, right, okay. Kevin, it's not an area I fish that often down the bottom end, but if I was, I suppose I would. I still put a majority of molehill in. I tell you why. It goes back to the continental days when we used to fish internationals, and we used to watch the continental anglers. They're the first ones to ball it in because it's like a dinner bell, isn't it? Boom, boom. But when it goes in, the fish get attracted to the noise and they come straight in on it. Well, they never put any feed in it. They used lean, and maybe just a smidge of the groundbreak with it. Well, we learned that in a sense, and that's where we started using molehill because we haven't got the dry clay that the continentals have, but we got molehill, and so it's the same principle. So it's less feed going in, and that's the idea of it, to be honest. Okay, Kevin, right, let's get back to this a minute. So anyway, yesterday, I tried a new because I was in the water and I couldn't talk, So I tried something different. I put a voiceover. In other words, I watched the video as I'm, editing it, putting it together. Because I don't know if you know how video works. Your camera can only video say 20 minutes at a time, so you got to stitch it together and all that. Well, I thought, well, why not do a little voiceover and just to explain a little bit what I'm doing because I couldn't do it on the day. And I had a couple of comments said that they like it. So if you do like it, let me know. And maybe it's something I could do again, because it's interesting because then I'm seeing things that I'm doing automatically and I realize what I'm doing, but at least I'll be able to explain it, why I'm doing it, So yeah, that could be a good, something for the future. Let's have a look. Irvin, Hornby, yeah, great fishing. And Paul Chapman, yeah, they both mentioned about the Y, about the fantastic fishing. Now, I personally think it's one of the best in the country. And as you said, anglers from all over come and fish it. Put it, if you have never fished it, put it on your bucket list, lads, and, come down one day, as I say, it's fantastic fishing and so many different species of fish. Depends on what you want to catch on the day, that's it. It was actually, I think it was, Irvin Home. You mentioned about the sticky mag. Any good on the Y? Well, like I explained, yes. Tell you use that a lot with Spud. You don't know Spud, he does well on there. He uses quite a lot of sticky mag quite a few times, and you can get further up with that then as well. And it keeps the bait in one area, doesn't it? It don't get spread around everywhere. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, rocking favor in Annette. Oh yes, Terry Matthews. No, I don't know if Terry's watching, but he did make a valid point here. Voiceover was great. Oh, thanks, Stephen. Right. Yes. So he mentioned, and he because I'd done the weigh-in. Obviously, I took the camera along and done a little video. I didn't film everyone, but I filmed most of them in the section. And a certain well-known angler was seen rolling his fish down the net. Now it's not a nice practice to do, and I'm with the Terry. Uh, you know, you shouldn't do that. Not when you got big volumes of fish. It's so easy just to go down the bottom of the net, get the second or third ring, and then that way put that over the weigh net and tip them over. Because rolling down the net, the only way you can do it rolling down the net, and I'll tell you, and I do it myself. I actually, if I ever roll the fish down to the top of the net, I do it when it's the fish are in the water, if that makes sense. So I'll grab the bottom of the net and I'll sort of feed it up. The fish are still in the water. They're not being rolled on the net, but they come into the top of the net. So when I lift it up like this, I can just tip the fish into the weigh net, and it's quick, easy, no harm to the fish. But yes, rolling the fish down the net's not nice, especially when you got 30, 40, 50 pound of fish. So yeah, I totally agree 100% on that. Okay, if you haven't seen that, view the videos at the way and you see what I mean. Right now, what did I say about Adrian Whittle? I knew he'd win it. I said to him before the start of the match, I said, "You win this again, you son," and he did. £90. What a phenomenal angler! And he done it. Okay, some people say he's lucky on the draw, but it don't matter. You still got to get him out. And I had a word with him afterwards and asked him what he caught, and he caught dace, chub, bit of everything, and he's done him on his whip. His Aries whip, is it? Yeah. 8 meters, I think he said 8 or 9 meters. So it's like fishing the old pole to hand. I don't know if you, if you see my vlog the other week, and I mentioned that I was the first to fish a pole to hand on the wire at Belmont, and I won a match. I was on peg 38, I think it was, on one match, and I fished, an overshotted float with a pole to hand. It was about 11 meters, I think, and I won the match and had a big audience behind me. See, I'd done it. Well, after that, of course, everyone starts fishing long whips or, pole to hand. And now, of course, with these technology, you can get these whips. I know they're a couple £100 each, not everyone can afford them, but, but when you're in the status of Adrian Whittle, you can have half a dozen put behind you, And fair dues to him, he's actually walked away with a match again, £90. So hats off to him, I think he said he's won the last 3 on the trot now. In fact, I think he's won 6. 6 in the last outing. So fantastic angler, and he's going to be hard to beat on any match on the Y, whatever he is, whether it's dace or whether it's bleak, So. Right, I gotta say, somebody's given me a thumbs down. Sorry, I think I measured it, but thanks to all the guys who give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate that. As I said, it helps with the algorithm. Now, you didn't see it on the video, but I had 6, maybe 8 pike attacks. I couldn't believe it. I was the only one getting bloody piked out again. And I had one on. He was a massive thing. It was a bloody big alligator. And the lads opposite seen me. In fact, Chris Smith, one of our lads, he said to me after, he said, "That was an enormous pike you had on." I said, "Yeah." But it was a tug of war, it was, because I managed to get the fish back, and it was a good chub, about £1. So that helped, before, it's a tug of war with me. They either come out the pike's mouth or I lose everything. Anyway, I managed to get it back, and I also managed to get another big roach out. Another one's mouth as well, but I'm afraid they didn't done me for about 6 hooks, and they're bloody monsters they are. So anyway, one good thing about it, we come 5th. The team come 5th, which was a vast improvement from 3rd from bottom last time. But as I say, the bleak did make a bit of an impact. Brian Rigsby in my section, for example, won it with £49 a bleak. So fair dues to him. Trevor Chalk, he was 3rd, I think, or 2nd, and he's had a bleak as well. So, mixed with a few perch as well. But yeah, all in all, fantastic match. My section in particular, great, and so was the section over. I remember somebody shouted over, he had £44, and I think he was lying fifth with that. Imagine that. One of our lads, Kevin Dix from Bristol, who's now fishing for us, he's had £51. I think he was fifth or sixth in the section with that. I think he picked up default money because all the others were in the frame above him. But there you are. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that vlog, and hopefully I'll do another one next week. As I say, whether it'll be on the Y or the dock, I'm not sure. If a ticket comes available for the Y, I will fish it, obviously. But otherwise, Saturday, yes, got to tell you about Saturday. Teams of 3 on the River Severn at Bewdley, so that will be a good one. That's for next Saturday. So I'll be making a vlog of that one as well. And what I'll try and do, as I said with the vlogs, if I can't talk, I'll do a voiceover and I'll explain a little bit what I'm doing. Hopefully it adds a bit of interest then, doesn't it? As I say, I'm sure a lot of the guys who watch it, I'm not teaching them anything new, but it's entertaining, isn't it? That's the main thing. It's entertaining. If you've got nothing to do during the week, why not watch the vlog? Watch the nothing better. I watch other people's vlogs, and sometimes I learn a little bit, like we all do. Right. So look, Neil Smith. What is the Y like at Hereford this time of year up to winter? Right. Well, what happens is that all these fish migrate to the Belmont area, the town water. I'm not saying you won't catch fish around that area in the town, because you still can. I mean, I see a lot of people go carp fishing there. There must be a few carp there, and obviously barbel as well. But there's a lot of bleak, and I think you get bleaked out on lots of things. I know somebody mentioned they catch roach on tears in the summer there. So, but to be honest, Neil, I don't fish it in the summer because there's no competitions. They don't have competitions there. It's only now during November onwards. November, December, January, February. So yeah. So I can't really. All I do know is that there's a lot of small fish there, bleak and that in the summertime. Alan Goldsworthy, what are your thoughts on long rods, 18-foot for river fishing? Just joined the live stream to apologise if this has been covered already. Well, no, I did cover this. I think it was last week as well, about what's the difference between a bolly rod and a long rod. Well, look, 18-foot rods, maybe ideal on certain circumstances, but not the ideal rod for speed and for weight. You really need to get something 13, 14 foot. Any more, over 5 hours, you're going to struggle a bit, I think. Not struggle, but it gets a bit heavy. I mean, I used a 15-foot yesterday. It might not look like a 15-foot, but if I could use a 13-foot, I would have. But I used that because that's what I had my fish on. Because what happened, I'll tell you what happened. You probably noticed on it that I switched to a loafer with a bread on a size 10, going down with a bit of bread. And what happened is that I started getting a little knocks, and I knew all fish there. So I thought, right, I thought about the another tip that somebody gave me. Why not put a couple of maggots on and cover it with bread? So what I done, I put a couple of maggots on, put a bread over it, went out, and then obviously the bread must have come off. And I had a bite, hooked it. It was a dace. I thought, oh, bloody hell. So I kept on the size 10. Then I put 3 maggots on and 4 maggots on, and I was catching dace, and it was a nice, reasonable day. So I just kept at it. Maybe if I got to a 14, I wouldn't have had any more bites. I still kept them coming. But the good thing was, at least I could skull drag them in, or really bring them in quick on a size 10. I didn't miss any bites, I don't think. But yeah, as I said, there was a bit of a struggle. Not a struggle, 15-foot. Certainly better than the 18-foot rod. But an 18-foot rod would work. Maybe on a deeper swim. Maybe if you're sort of fishing long distances to pick the line up off the water, maybe. But yeah, I don't dismiss it, Adam. But I would try and get a rod to suit the depth of the swim. The shorter the rod, the better. In fact, I done a coaching the other day. I done a coaching, and the lad only had 12-foot rods with him. And when I picked it up, I thought, blimey, this is like so light and like a little toy. I thought, bloody, I wish I could fish a 12-foot rod all the time, but it was a bit too short because you think you need that extra foot for the depth. So yeah, so if you can, the shorter the rod, the better, I think. So there. Okay. Neil Smith, can you get any day tickets at Belmont? Yes, you can, Neil. All you have to do is go into Woody's Tackle Shop, okay, in the town centre. You can get a day ticket, 10 quid a day. Okay. Better still, why not be? Well, it depends how many times you're going to fish. Why? I keep saying I'm doing it, but I was going to get a season ticket. It's only 50 quid, so that means you only got to go 5 times and you got your money back. So maybe next year I'll probably get a season ticket. Paul, hi mate. Be interested to see how Adrian will be doing when he's 70. Yes, mate, you've got a bloody point there. Credit went over 60 with some of those walks. Oh yeah, I know, it's bloody. Well, I tell you what I've noticed, Paul. A few of them now got these electric trolleys, and I think that's definitely helping with those long walks. Obviously, the banks need a little bit suspect, especially at the top section, where they go, where there's a slant. So you've got to be a little bit careful. But yes, I think it'd be interesting to see what Adrian's going to be like when he's 70. He's in his prime now, yeah. Well, I was 35 when I won the World Championships. I was in my prime then. So, yeah, that's a bloody lifetime away now, isn't it? But yeah, I enjoy going, and I'm sure you all you boys, including you, Paul. Um, later on in life, we got the experience behind us, haven't we? So that's the thing. After yesterday, I woke up this morning, I was aching all over, freezing, after freezing to death. But when I got out of the water yesterday, it was like, it was nice and warm after being in that river. And standing up was the worst thing. It was really, really hard. What's that, Andrew? He He's. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Andrew. Yeah. So anyway, like I said before, if you get yourself in a nice, comfortable position when you're fishing matches, and that's worth a couple of pound in the net, as far as I'm concerned. And the guys who, the only thing, about yesterday, if you look at the results, I beat them both sides. That's all you can do. I think he had £20 on the right of me, and I beat Dave Arrow below me. So so you can only beat your men around you. If you're in a good area, then obviously you got a chance of picking up some coin. Andrew again. You'll be a millionaire the way he's fishing and winning. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you've got to have a little bit of luck with the draw. It's how your face fits, Andrew. I know that. I can tell you that through experience. But Adrian is a nice guy if you talk to him. I mean, a lot of people think he's a bit aloof. But he's not. If you get to him on a one-to-one and talk to him, he's okay. He's a nice guy. I know. I think I mentioned last week when I said to Mark Downs, I said, "Why don't you pick Adrian for your England team?" Well, he said he won't listen to instructions. Any top angler, they're their own men. You know what I mean? I think that was the reason I got dropped from the World Championships many years ago. Because I done my own thing. Well, you don't do your own thing. You fish how you think you should fish. Once you start fishing to conformity and even it's the wrong method, then what's the point of it? You've got to think on your feet with fishing. Kevin Ashers will tell you that. He's a man. He's a man who'll swap and change. Okay. Right, Stephen Collins. I know done video showing your ground bait, but you could see another one. Oh, okay, yeah, I did make some short videos about I was in my brother's conservatory, and we were doing mixing the ground bait and showing people how it works and how you mix it. But I suppose it could be updated again. Yeah, it's getting the time now. That's the only thing, Stephen, because obviously I'm off to Thailand now next month, so I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months even. I'll try and keep the vlogs going because at least I can talk about fishing, even if nothing else. And I hope to make a few fishing vlogs when I'm over there as well. Show you the Thai fishing, and the match side of it. Andrew, yes, fished at Hatton Mill with him. Nice guy. Oh, you did, yeah. Andrew, yeah, he's all right. Adrian, yeah, he's But he does put a lot of effort in. He does put a lot of effort in, and if you look at his tackle, it's spot on. I mean, it does help when you are sponsored, like he's sponsored by Dio now, and he got all the top of the range gear. But as I say, you got to take your hat off to him, because for about a year or two he couldn't fish because he got a gammy leg. I don't know if you know, a hip or something, and then he had an operation, and then he had it fixed, and now he's he's on top of his game. He's on top of his game. Another lad who's come on, even though I don't we've had words in the past, and that's Lee Edwards, another angler. He done very well on peg 53 yesterday. He had 55 pound, I think it was. It's good weight from that area. So yeah. Okay, lads. Don't send anything else. Any more questions now? Hello. Stuart Nicklin. If we all behaved like sheep, it would be boring. Yes, the original Banshee Blacks were a real mix-up. Yeah, you're right there, Stuart. Yeah. Andrew, yes, defo. Yeah. Okay, right then. Well, okay. Any more questions? Fire away. Otherwise, I've been on here an hour now. I'm glad they're still going, these live sort of streams on a Monday, and they're building up. I had about 800 viewers come and watch last week, so that's good. As I say, not everyone can actually see them live, but they do catch up like during the week, and it's worth going to watch them again sometimes, because you can pick up little things that you may have missed, especially when you're asking questions and things like that. Just clicking through now. Yeah, so as I say, next week I'll be fishing the dock on the Sunday, Saturday on the 7th, beautifully. If I go in the week, I'll let you know. Otherwise, if I don't see you around, I'll see you around like a donut, they say. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully, I'll see you next week. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Okay, lads. All the best, tight lines, and don't forget, you can always leave questions or ask questions later on if you want, if you miss anything. And obviously, sometimes even I might ask you a question. I think that pike one is very interesting. I'm definitely going to give that a go. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks, Chris. See you next week. Okay, lovely. And you, Stephen. Okay, all the best, boys. See you next week then. I'm going to watch I got to tell you a little secret here. I haven't actually watched the vlog that I made yesterday. Because it was late. By the time I got home, put it together. I put it up on YouTube, and I haven't even watched it, so I don't even know what this actually turned out like. So I'm hoping it's okay anyway. Thanks, Stephen. All right, mate. All the best.